Hey guys, I am here with another book review. Today we're going to be looking at the second book in the Hunger Games series, which is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. Something that this book did great with the characters is showing that they have trauma. Going through an event like the Hunger Games, an event where children are randomly selected to fight to the death, that's going to do some numbers on people. A lot of the times in the fantasy and sci-fi genres, I read these books and the characters go through awful things, war and whatever else. They never have any issue with it. It's just like, okay, that happened. That's unrealistic. If you went through traumatic situations, you're going to have trauma. That was greatly depicted here. Every single character in this book is traumatized from the events of the first book, and it's displayed well how that is different for everybody. In the first book, I talked about how some instances of Katniss being in her head annoyed me, but it made sense why she was like that. In the second book, that is falling on Peeta. He gets angry and upset about being left out of certain things, and as a mature adult, I understand why he was left out of these things, but I have to remind myself he is a teenage boy, so his reaction is not only going to be the most mature, and it makes sense for him to feel these ways. However, it got kind of irritating to read that, and I'm not going to lie about it. Lastly, my biggest issue with the characters in Catching Fire was the romance, the love triangle. It's kind of ironic when you think about these movies, iconic, not ironic. When you think about these movies, you were either on Team Gale or Team Peeta. I was Team Gale personally. I get that it adds tension to the character dynamics and relationships, but I don't need that. I'm not a fan of love triangles. I do think the world building was better and did improve. We get to see almost all the districts in this book rather than just District 12 or the capital, although I'm still left with some questions, mainly about how this rebellion is funded and the background to it. I also have questions about the peacekeepers and AVOXs. I need to know how their systems work. For the writing itself, the words and prose being used, I'm a fan of it. I do really like the bluntness. It's very easy for me to read. There are some instances of info dumping when we are back in the arena, but I don't think that took away anything from the story. However, the first half of the book had major pacing issues for me. It was like, there seems to be a rebellion forming, and our characters are being threatened. Let's dilly-dally about that for 45% of the book. I was so bored and over that waiting for something to happen. I get that we are building to the rebellion, and I do think this book really has second book syndrome. This is filler. We have to get from point A to point B, but first we have to have this stop in between. We have to light that fuse for this rebellion or maybe all out war to start. The plot